start, you know what I mean? Mars Dairy, Ken, we have the owner, Ken, with us. And basically, I guess, start with yourself, I guess, or if you want to start with Mars, it's up to you, but wherever you would like to begin your story.
Okay, well, my name's Ken Bethge. I'm the owner of Maurer's Ice Cream. I bought it in 1990. I bought Maurer's Ice Cream in 1993, and then we moved up here to what was called the Tea Shop, also known as Al Polish's. I bought them out in 1996, and so we opened up our own ice cream shop and served our ice cream out of here. And we still do deliveries to schools and homes at the time. In 1999, we stopped doing the homes, and we just strictly did school deliveries only. Still making the ice cream. And in 2000, I moved everything from Tharptown and built an addition out back in our parking lot and made a creamery, a walk-in cooler, and a walk-in freezer. So now we are totally up here at 34 South Market Street, Shamokin since 2000, and moved out of Tharptown since we were down there since 1993. And Maurer owned that place and from, I think, it was in the late 1940s. And they made their own milk and ice cream stuff there. We didn't make any milk there anymore because the equipment was old, so I had it prepackaged with their label on it. But now we just strictly make ice cream and deliver milk to schools. And have our ice cream shop here with sandwiches and hamburgers and stuff like that there. And we built an outside barbecue area where we do 7 days a week. We do outside barbecuing ribs, ribeye sandwiches, half rack of ribs, half chickens, chicken wings, and half-pound cheesesteaks now, which we are going out the door. We make a loaded taco. So things have picked up since we moved up here.
Yeah. So so how was your experience with, being a local business and having to endure the shutdown, and all that? So let's just start at the beginning. What was that experience like basically in the beginning? Because I feel like everybody was a lot more scared at the beginning. Now things are a little bit more tempered. I just wanted to just from like a Shamokin, a business perspective, like what was it like from the beginning till up to now?
It was scary at first because I didn't know what to do. But I was fortunate enough that before this happened, in November, I started doing outside barbecuing. I bought the equipment for it, so we were going to do it. And when they told us we weren't able to do anything inside here except takeouts, I thought, well, I'm going to take advantage of an opportunity and see what we can do. And we started cooking outside, along with some of the food inside. And we started doing takeouts out here and cooking out on our grills. And people loved it. They would literally wait in line 6 feet apart. And they would wait in line, pick up their food, and go home. And they thought it was great because they could still have our great food and take it home and not have to deal with anybody. And it picked up more and more and more and more. And we still plan on doing it. And I kind of guess I got lucky because with the takeouts, being takeouts, I checked with my local congressman, Kurt Maurer, checked the local officials. And as long as we were doing takeouts outside and they weren't eating inside whatsoever or eating on the premises, we were able to do it.
Yeah, that's good. I would assume. I know the general manager at Heritage and a few other places, and you would have to assume that if you're a restaurant with primary diet, you do the ice cream, you have other things, which is obviously really good for right now, like you just elaborated on. But somewhere that completely relies in Shamokin on dine-in, say Palmer's, all those kinds. I would assume that they have to be struggling mightily right now.
Definitely, because of the fact of they're closed down because you can't serve inside. And we did breakfast too, but doing a takeout breakfast is really hard because, in my opinion, by the time you get a breakfast with eggs and stuff like that there and take them home, they keep cooking, and you wind up getting over easy eggs, and it wind up being hard till you get them home. The toast gets soggy. It's not like regular food.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, I really feel like the styrofoam containers, when it keeps the heat in, like you said, it cooks the food a little bit more. I notice that if I get fries takeout from somewhere, I immediately will open the container when I get in the car. It's I'd rather have cold fries as long as they're crispy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that you said that it's difficult with breakfast to do that then.
But what we do now with the fries, and I did it with the breakfast too if people wanted it, when we put it in a styrofoam, I would take a fork and poke the living daylights out of it and let it steam out. so that so your fries wouldn't be soggy and your eggs wouldn't be keep cooking. They did to a point, but like you said, a lot of people would take their stuff and open it up and let the steam out. But by but we learned from stuff, and I had an idea. This is how to do it, and so it made our product better to take home on top of it.
Yeah. Okay. So do you feel like after say well apparently we're going to go into the green phase soon and but we don't even really know how long until necessarily they would say okay you're allowed to be at full capacity. How do you feel? Do you feel that now that you're doing the outdoor thing, or do you feel that your whole business is going to change now just because of, like you said, people are lining up, they don't want to deal with anybody, they're 6 feet apart? Is it going to be, do you think that you will do more takeout now, or do you think your business will, how much what do you think will change in your business moving forward?
Our takeout business is going to quadruple. Um, People are lining up out here, and then what they're doing is we only have a limited menu outside here for the time being, and then they're coming into the restaurant. So it's working hand in hand because it's next to each other. So if you want to come in here and you can get your food outside, they'll come in here and get a milkshake or get their ice cream and take it on home. Or if they want a cheeseburger to go with their stuff, or they'll come in here and order cheeseburger, fries, pay for it in here. They come outside and then get their food here and they take it all home. So it's kind of everything blends together. And for the most part, I really think it's going to do very well because people call up all the time, want to know what we can do for takeout. And then we started delivering on top of it now. So that we never did that before.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I definitely think it's important to stay adaptable, if because I mean, personally, my best friend, my business partner, he works at a Red Lobster in Stroudsburg. So, and he's a server. So, I mean, if he's a bartender or he's a manager or he's a cook, he's probably still going to have a job, but he's probably not going to have a job, and he's been there for, I don't know, 10 years,
Yep.
2010, I think, something like that. Well, because I started there with him, 2011 maybe. And, he's going to have to completely change. So, I feel like everywhere is going to kind of gear towards takeout and all that. So it's kind of, like you said, the perfect storm where you kind of invested in the outdoor cooking and all that kind of stuff in November, December. And then this comes around. So, where I feel like a lot of other places are struggling to try to find, what they can do. But like you said, you have the ice cream too, which keeps people going around. Curious. I don't know too much about the bittersweet. Could you just tell me like what that is? I know it's like your most famous thing. I had it there when I was there last time. It's excellent, but like where that came from and why it's so popular, and just a little bit about that.
There's two people that are going to take claim for it, and I don't know. I've done a history on it, and everybody there's two companies that claim for it. March's ice cream, which is closed down now for quite some time. They claim that they invented the bittersweet. Maurer claims that they went to a convention and they invented the bittersweet. So I think people recognize the March's name on the bittersweet more than the Maurer's name.
Okay.
But what happened is when I bought Maurer's out, we stopped making the milk. A gentleman that made the milk for them he's 62 years old, still needed a job. So he said to me, listen, Kenny, I used to make the ice cream over at March's in a totally different machine. But he says, and this is how we did the bittersweet over there. And so we changed the recipe a little bit from what Maurer's is doing to how we're doing it. And people fell in love with it.
Yeah.
And so I'm not originally from the area, so I know people might say, "Oh, I know who invented it first," and I'm not going to argue with them because I really don't know. But what it is, bittersweet is our version of chocolate chip. Instead of using chocolate chips, we use a chocolate. We melt it down to the right temperature, mix it with another chocolate, and another secret ingredient that we put in there, and keep it at the right temperature. And we actually melt it. And when we melt it, we put it into the cold hopper of the ice cream. And when that hot hits the cold, it automatically splatters into the ice cream. Just totally splatters in pieces, and that's what makes the chips.
So that's what makes yeah.
So that makes the chips. I mean, if you have the temperature too high, it turns it too chocolate. If you have it too low, it turns it too lumpy. So that you got to have the right temperature and right texture whole. So once you figure it out, I mean, you can do it.
Yeah.
That's our version. And we sell that. For every half gallon of normal ice cream we probably sell 6 bittersweet.
So that's the thing. So what do you think, or do you know what was the difference that the guy you were talking about that came in and made the milk. So what's the difference that he did with your machine that caused it, you think, like to explode? Like what was different about the process that made it that much better?
Two things. A, we use a different product to melt um, the bittersweet, so it would be consistently smooth when we put it in there. And the second thing, we changed the vanilla that we use in our base, and it was a much better vanilla. It's more expensive vanilla, and all my stuff I put in my recipes are probably top of the line. That's why my ice cream is so expensive. And we used a better vanilla, and it justified the vanilla. Vanilla brings out, and any cook will know that when you're cooking with something, you put vanilla in something, it brings out the flavor. So if you have a good vanilla. If you want to taste how good somebody's ice cream is, first thing you just buy is vanilla. Okay. If they have a great vanilla, they're gonna have a great base. If they only have an okay vanilla, you're only gonna have an okay product.
I guess that's why Turkey Hill ice cream is just average, huh?
Now, you said it, not me.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying compared to, you know what I mean.
Plus the fact that we use 14% butterfat in all of our ice cream. Those companies use 10%.
All right.
So when I use the 14% mix and I put chocolate in it, the chocolate I use has about 4.5 to 5% butterfat in it. So now you're talking an ice cream that is 19% butterfat.
I know one thing that's good is butter. That's what I was always wondering what the difference between what made some places that had really good steaks, and I found the butter they cook with makes a huge difference. So
exactly.
so if you like the butter that they use, or they use real butter, you can actually tell the difference. So there's a perfect example of it. So, I'm trying to think. So you said that you feel like your to go orders are going to quadruple from this point. Do you think that's going to change your approach to the inside of the restaurant? Are you know what I mean? Are you going to open it up and do the social distancing thing, or do you think that everything inside will pretty much run the same? You just feel like you're going to just do more takeout?
I think it's going to be a combination. People still like to be waited on. People still like to come inside and sit down in the air conditioning. That's what's so good. We have air conditioning in here. So it's like when we do the Heritage Festival. I always thought, oh my God, we're not going to do anything in here because everybody has food outside. And we get slammed here because of one big reason is it's hot outside. People want to come in the air conditioning and sit down, but they're tired. They want to be waited on. They don't want to just. Some people still want to be waited on. Some people, our generation, likes to just sometimes, just pick up and go, eat on the road, eat outside, and I have 6 picnic tables outside now. From 12 o'clock to 2 o'clock, they're almost all full with people sitting out here eating, pulling in trucks. We never had truck drivers pulling here before. Now they're pulling in. I have all different breeds coming in here for to eat because they can sit outside or just take it and go. And then the delivery on top of it. Now they can get our outside grilling delivered to their house on top of it.
Yeah. I mean, really for me, I feel like there's still people that will love serving, but it is becoming almost a dying art. I mean, I was a server for so long, but you'll still have those people. But luckily, like you said, you're not going to be so based in the worrying about getting people in, where you said you can do outside things, and that's where I feel like the entire country is kind of heading, and in every aspect, I feel like every business is going to have to do this. So I mean, I run festivals for a living, so I mean, we don't even know what we're going to do. I can't even sit here and say, oh, we confidently know that we're going to do X, Y, and Z from this point, and everything's just kind of up in the air at this point. And we're in very strange times, that's for sure. But
I just heard on the radio today, like Best Buy. Best Buy, you really can't buy anything, so they're doing stuff online, and then you could also order it for takeout. And they said their business has almost doubled from just Best Buy for people ordering stuff. And they said that's what their new model is going to be. They're going to try to figure out how they can incorporate their inside sales now with the outside, because it's like a UPS. I mean, they're so damn busy because people don't want to go shopping anymore.
Yeah, and now with
you have dinner delivered to your house.
Yeah, and I mean you add in the fear, whether it's all of the fear is justified. Certainly certainly some people are dying, and nursing homes are really bad. I mean, my mom works in a nursing home, so you know what I mean. So there's definitely risk involved, but just that altogether, whether you're I mean, I think that if Walmart should be open, you should be able to, you know what I mean? I feel like all businesses should be able to dictate themselves. And then if they're not following the standards, then, you make, but who's to say, 15,000 people walking in and out of the Shamokin Walmart in one day
Yeah,
is less safe
exactly.
than someone going across the street to one of those strip things and walking in and there's one customer per hour. I mean, you tell
Right.
me what's safer. It just seems like, and then that creates this stranglehold on all these small businesses and everything like that. So it's really interesting. Luckily, Threestival and the Music Fest, like we'll be okay, but I can't imagine, bands and all different like Spyglass Winery and all these like local they're not going to be able to do anything for how long, and when they're allowed to, what is going to be the restrictions at like Spyglass,
Right,
I
and then you got to book people to get in there, and so everybody's either going to book everybody right away, or how that goes. The band's got to figure out what they're going to do. So everybody's going to be fighting for the same people.
Yep. And it's all going to be, oh, well, we can only have it at 50% capacity. It goes into any restaurants, concerts, all that kind of stuff. Is it worth it to have a concert if it's only 50% capacity and everybody's got to wear a mask or everyone's got a I mean, nobody's going to do that in the middle of the summer. Who's going to wear a mask? You
Nope.
sweat. I mean, I went to the protest at Harrisburg last week and I wore a mask doing it for Hobart News. And I mean, I was sweating, you know what I mean? Breathing it, like just breathing into that mask and just sweat over. Like nobody's gonna want to do that. So then, what I saw some bands are doing like drive-in shows, but people are gonna want to get out of their cars, and it's just it's absolute madness. It really is the last couple of
I
months.
agree. It's like now they're opening up the beaches and you got to have a mask on. You can't do this, you can't do that. And I personally think they're going to have chaos at these beaches. People aren't
Yeah.
going to wear them, and who's going to justify them?
Yeah,
You
and
know,
they're saying like you can go on the beach, but you can't lay on the beach. Like it's unbelievable. Like the regulations. It's just you know what I mean. Yeah, and people are gonna go nuts because if it's just where Americans were used to our freedom and all that. So it's just like
yep.
okay, there's just a certain point where people are gonna, and you see it. People aren't really taking it, and I feel like the general public opinion just in general because I'm an independent, I'm that Democrat or Republican, but I
Right.
just see the general opinion shifting towards like hey, like we need to be open at least in some regard, like safely. And I feel like that's the consensus where before I feel like there were still a lot of people that were teetering on like we need to be closed, we need to be closed, everything,
Right.
where I feel like maybe we should be focusing on like staying healthier, working on our immune system, slowly opening up, protecting the sick, all that kind of stuff where there's options to do things where we can't shut down all the businesses are going to go out of business, all the
Exactly.
small businesses.
They
So
are. I got a couple of friends of mine that have restaurants and bars and stuff, and they said if they don't open up soon, they're done.
yeah, I mean you have to assume like for Threestival, if we would have deposits on our bands and deposits on the venue that were non-refundable, we would be crippled. But luckily,
Yeah.
we operate in a small enough. So that's I just think of the smaller businesses that are just a little bit bigger than me that have they pay for land every year, or they pay for a stage, or they pay for they had deposits on bands, and they're trying to like scramble to reschedule or figure out. And I think about the same thing where businesses that are small and upstart and can't do a takeout or can't do where like it's just not their thing. Like you said, Palmer's could do takeout maybe, but you said breakfast doesn't work good in a styrofoam container. So that hurts. Maybe that hurts them more than it helps them. And they're stuck in a rock and a hard place. And I feel like there's so many restaurants that
There
and
are.
and bars and businesses that have to be on the brink.
Yep. I agree 100%.
Yeah. So, anything else, Ken? Anything else you want to say about Mauer's? Anything else you want to
Yeah.
plug or anything like that? Just
Two things I want to plug if I could. Number one, I want to thank, we do a free breakfast here for the kids since this started. We do it from 8 o'clock in the morning till 11 o'clock at night. It's all donations. People that donate their time here. All I do is give up the building and help get the donations in. And I want to thank every person I wish I could do it personally, but I want to thank every person that has donated money. You'd be surprised the money that came in here to pay for a lot of stuff. I've had businesses that have dropped off food, businesses dropped off checks. I have people from Northumberland. I've had people from the Philly area, Allentown, have dropped off checks here. I have people that dropped off eggs and pancake mix and syrups and bread and stuff that we give out all the time for the people here. And we're finally going to be stopping it on June 12th because the schools have stopped doing theirs also. So we're going to be stop the free stuff, and anything we have left over, we're going to give to a food pantry that can use it when they're allowed to do it. But this coal region here, even outside the coal region, has pulled together for this our free breakfast, which is I was shocked. I thought, who's going to come? We started off heavy, 150, 200 a day. It dropped down now to about 50 a day because there's other places that are doing it. But I want to thank every person, every business, every individual that came here to help. And it's just unreal. I never expected this to be the way it was. And you'd be surprised that people come in here and are thanking and are so happy. And it's not just kids that we're doing anymore. We're doing it for anybody that needs a meal because they have so much food.
Yeah.
So they're coming in here and they're taking it home for their mom and dad, they're taking it home for their grandparents, they're taking it home for themselves and then their neighbors. So it's just unreal.
Yeah. I mean, that's awesome. I'm sure everybody.
I applaud the area, I applaud the people, and I truly want to thank them.
Yeah, I mean, that's an awesome thing that you're doing for the area. And one thing that I've definitely noticed about this area, just to elaborate on your point, is, I run Hobart News, so I see a lot of, like, nasty comments and, like, all that kind of stuff. But really, when it really comes down to it, this area is very much like family. And I feel like the right people come out and support and do the right things. And we still have a lot of good people around here. And that the family, I have a lot of friends that they don't interact with their families like I do. Like, I'm out at my parents' house every night. And, it's just, that's the way it is around here. You're always, like, with your family. And it's like a family type of atmosphere. And that's, like, one of the best things about the coal region. So it's awesome to hear that, you're getting... So you can keep feeding people because there's so many people struggling. We're all struggling. I mean, I'm budgeting my food and eating ramen and it's all
like college days.
Yeah, it really is. I honestly, like, I was looking at my cupboard the other day and I'm like, all right, well, I can eat 2 ramen today, and it's just like funny. You're just trying to be as conservative as possible because you don't know what's going to happen in the future. So, but. All right, Ken, thank you so much for your time. Check out Mars Dairy on South Market. What's that exact address?
34 South Market Street, Shamokin, right on the main drag, 125.
All right, yep. Sounds good. All right, Ken, thanks so much for your time.
Thanks, Anthony.
Yeah, I'll take care. Yeah, I'll stop down soon. All right? All right, see you later.